Hey everyone, this is Gilberto from Maverick Media Lab, and I'm here with Sean Bomer. I hope I said that last name correctly.
Beamer, that's all right.
Beamer, yeah, there we go. Beamer, and he's one of our clients that's going to be going over how he's been able to generate 7 referrals in a down market. Sean, I really appreciate you hopping on and sharing your time with us.
Of course.
And just so that the whoever's viewing this video knows a little bit more about who you are, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and your background?
Yeah. Work for a company called Spire. I've been in the mortgage industry, 15 plus years. Always been a really decent producer, but, I saw the writing on the wall in this market, and I thought, I came across one of your ads, I believe, and thought it was a good opportunity in a down market to kind of recreate systems, make sure systems are better, and maybe form some new relationships while business wasn't so busy.
Gotcha. And when it came to referral partnerships and growing your purchase business, like what were some of like those kind of challenges that you were coming across when it came to just fostering more of those referral partnerships? So what did that look like for you?
Well, trying to do that myself, we always look at the use of your time and the highest and best use of your time. And,
yeah.
To try to generate that many new relationships, it was going to take hundreds of phone calls. It's like, that's just not my highest and best use of my time. It's actually putting money into the dollar activities. So I thought that this was a pretty good opportunity to be able to work on my business, work on my new systems, while someone else was kind of doing the work of, not quite as profit generating activities.
Right. Going through like the numbers and all that stuff, like the rejections to find like the good realtors and stuff. Do you think that if you started so let's say in a hypothetical scenario, like where you were to do the calls yourself, like, do you think that, in all honesty, do you think that you would have produced less, like you would have closed like less deals if you were like just getting on the phone all day and just cold calling realtors?
I would have, it wouldn't have been a good use of my time. I probably could have done a better job, because it's actually me calling instead of someone else. A lot of people are reluctant to let someone else set an appointment for them, but I just don't have time in the day to make 300 or 400 phone calls. And the few loans I did have to work on and the relationships I had to continue to foster would have went by the wayside while I was making those calls. So yeah, you could do it. You can always do the heavy lifting, but we look for profit generating activities, and that's actually having conversations with agents and entertaining agents and providing value to agents in different ways. And, just kind of a shotgun approach of trying to attract new agents. It's just not a great use of my time.
Yeah, 100%. I always, I find that to be true with a lot of like the testimonial interviews that we do with some of the guys that are already like 15 years in, or like they are already like busy producing loan officers. That's a similar thing that they always say is like the best use of time. Like I could be doing, like each one of them, that's kind of something that they said too, is like, I could be doing this, I could do this myself, right? But I would much rather have someone else do it, so that I'm only talking to like the interested realtors, the ones that are actually open to having a conversation, rather than making all those phone calls. Yeah. And I guess now that you've like gotten those appointments, like talk to us about like the results. Like what did that look like in terms of like appointments per month, and like what were, like, I know you mentioned you had some referrals, so tell us about like results that you've seen.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I was pretty impressed. I've spent money on various things over the years, and very rarely have I found anything that I spent a pretty significant chunk of money on that ended up being worth it. But yeah, my guy that I had calling for me, he just hammered the phones. I think I had 178 appointments over a 4-month period. Some weeks it was, up to 8 to 12 appointments. It almost was too much. I almost had to get with my guy and have him qualify a little more, so that I didn't have so many appointments. I gained commitment from probably 15 to 20 people that I'm going to be in their rotation. I got a few that actually said I'll be their preferred lender. I got a total of about 7 referrals, that a couple did turn into transactions. And I feel like, that's pretty amazing for the times that we're in right now, because I really didn't expect that. I expected maybe have a couple of relationships that I can foster and it'll turn into referrals. In this market, it's just just a really tough market. Anyone in the mortgage business knows that it's brutal out there right now. And so to actually get a couple of deals from it is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I know if it would have been like earlier in the year, like January time, we'd be talking about like double or triple the amount of deals that you would have been getting. So yeah, it's kind of unfortunate,
Exactly.
just the market conditions. But it's good that you were able to get those referrals and transactions. And I'm curious, like what else was like kind of like your expectation, like before you even getting started with it? Like, was there you had mentioned like maybe like you weren't thinking it might have worked, or like maybe you were thinking like you wouldn't have gotten any appointments. Like, what did you think initially? Like
I
before?
was thinking that there would be, 1 or 2 appointments set a week, and one of them wouldn't even show up. So I'd be doing 1 appointment a week. I didn't think that there was any way possible that, because I actually talked to another loan officer before I decided to jump on board. So I was like, I got to talk to someone who's used this and make sure that it's on the up and up. And he was like, yeah, dude, one thing you're going to have a problem with is you're going to have too many appointments. And I was like, I guess that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then you can work with your guy to, or gal, make sure that they're qualifying differently, maybe to get a little higher level stuff rather than quantity versus quantity. So you can find a balance with that. But yeah, I didn't expect it to work. I expected me to walk away saying, what a waste of money.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the things that our clients have said, because they've tried like kind of like buying leads and all that other stuff. And then like after trying all that stuff, like this is the thing that kind of like worked for them, is like, fostering those realtor partnerships and getting more realtors in the network.
Who's first in an egg?
Exactly. Yeah. Going after like the fisherman rather than going directly for the fish is kind of like what we like to call it. One thing I was curious about, because you've been in the industry for like 15 years, you've seen a lot of loan officers, industry, like colleagues that you've had and probably had other past companies. Like, where do you think that like kind of loan officers go wrong when it comes to like growing their referral partnerships? Like why are not as many loan officers getting success with like building that realtor network and getting referrals?
It's value. You have to be able to produce value. I mean, a lot of loan officers go wrong by trying to sell, hey, we have great rates, we close on time, blah, 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 blah. That everyone expects that. So you have to be able to sell value. And I'll tell anyone and look at it to do this as well. You have to understand that this isn't magic. They're just going to set the appointments, but they are going to get you quality appointments, but you have to follow up. You have to create those relationships with the people for it to really work. So, but yeah, I would just give anyone advice to create relationships. And what you do wrong is don't sell your rate. Don't sell the race to the bottom, as we call it. Sell your value, sell why you're different, and if you're not the most knowledgeable person, find your why. You have to find your why you're in this business. And you have to be genuine. I mean, if you're just kind of shotgun telling everybody that your rates are great, big deal. They want to know that you have their back and that they can trust their customers with you, and through the whole process, and that you're just the most knowledgeable person in the room to send their clients. So I would say be sincere, find your why, and create value for free every chance that you get.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things that from what you just said right now, from what you just mentioned right now, is like how you communicate that value, right? Because I'm sure there's like other loan officers or your company too, right? But they might not be able to like communicate the value as much as like, because you've been in the industry, like, what you can do for the realtor, and like how you communicate that, right, to in the meeting is like, I'm sure makes a big difference of whether or not that realtor will work with you, right? Because if you communicate wrong, it could actually work against you, right? Like the realtor probably just, another one of these guys, like another one, right? But if you come off different in the way you communicate the value, like it makes a huge difference.
Yep. And you got to stay in front of them and make it easy. I look at the relationships I have with like title agents and insurance brokers and stuff. It's like, I look at the ones that provide value, but more importantly, I make it the ones that stay in front of me a lot and it's easy to refer. I'm like, oh yeah, top of mind. I'm going to refer Keely over for insurance, whatever. You just have to be easy to refer and be top of mind.
100% agree. And so I'm sure you get a lot of like marketing emails and just a bunch of stuff and different options that you have. I'm sure when you were thinking of working with us, like other people that are reaching out to you, what made you move forward with us as compared to like other options? Like what was it that made you pull the trigger and decide to have us help you with the realtor partner stuff?
I guess because I've been approached for leads a million times, online leads, whether it be Zillow or some other person that provides leads, and it's just junk. Like it goes back to the fisherman or the golden goose versus the golden egg. You know, I like the goose analogy because they're just going to keep laying golden eggs instead of going after the egg. So I thought in a market like this, when it's down, loan officers are getting out of the business, it was just going to be a better opportunity to create relationships than chase fish or eggs. So that was just my take because I've tried other things, but I've never done it like that. I've always grown my relationships organically, but you know, when I saw the writing on the wall of this market, I just thought it was a pretty good opportunity, and I figured, you know, I've had a great couple years. I can afford to try something new, so let's go after it.
What one thing I'm genuinely curious to know, like what made you pull the trigger? Because that like one loan officer could be thinking like, yeah, it's a down market, I'm going to pull back, which we've seen loan officers do. And then there's like our clients, right? The ones who work with us are like, yeah, no, I'm gonna move forward on this. I'm gonna grow my referral partnerships during this time, even though it's a down market. Like, what was the mentality and like your thought process when you decided to pull the trigger on this, when you could have easily said like, no, it's a down market?
Well, because I feel like if you do what everyone else does, you'll get what they're getting, and everyone else is, you know, down 70%.
Yeah.
And I didn't completely escape that, but I figured this is my career. I don't want to do anything else, so it's time to be aggressive instead of be shy.
Instead of pulling back your punches.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and even during this time of this interview here, it's like, you know, like winter and stuff, especially like in the time frame that you were getting the calls. So even during that time, like when, you know, realtors are supposedly like slowing down, you were still getting like so many appointments per week. So that's the interesting part, because I know a lot of loan officers think that like there's no realtors and like they won't take the calls because they're on their vacation, but you're over here telling your appointment setter to like slow down the appointments.
I'm not kidding. I really did have to tell him. I was like, dude, I can't handle that many appointments. Like I can't even do my job because I'm just appointment to appointment to appointment. You know, some of them were Zoom, some of them were coffee, some of them were just phone calls. But yeah, I mean, to me, you got to be aggressive. And I think the realtors, they're scared. They're scared just like everybody else is. So they're like, maybe this dude has a solution, you know, and if you can communicate some kind of a solution that, hey, the sky's falling a little bit, but it's going to be okay. We'll come out on the other side if we, you know, work our butts off.
I love it. By the way, I'm going to show the appointment setter this, by the way, this video so you can see it. He's going to be like totally pumped about it.
Well, he knows too. I'm like, dude, chill.
Yeah, he's going to be super stoked about it. And last question, like, so for someone who's like in the spot where you were like before you pulled the trigger on this, who's like considering working with us and starting to get, you know, realtor appointments, like what would you say to that individual who's like on the fence and still like thinking about it possibly? What would you say to that person?
I'd say definitely, you know, talk to someone like me that used it. I would say think to myself, you know, am I willing to work for this? Because the appointments alone won't get you anything. You have to understand that you have to create value. You have to stay in front of these people. You know, it's going to be an ongoing effort for me. You know, all 178 or whatever the amount of these people I put into my CRM. You know, now it's going to be up to me to stay in front of them and give them a reason to refer me. So if you think you can, you know, handle that, you know, definitely give someone like me or another loan officer who used it a call, see what we say honestly. And then just be prepared to have a good value proposition sold, you know, prepared for them.
Love it. Appreciate the feedback. And I'm glad you got like phenomenal results on this and that you're super stoked about it. I always like when I hear that, like, you know, you try like other stuff and like, this is the thing that worked. Like we put a ton of effort in just really making sure that our clients got results. I'm really happy, seriously. And I'm sure our appointment setter is going to be like super stoked about it too, as well. I'm going to go ahead and show this to him.
Yeah.
So that
Both the guys did a fantastic job for me.
Yeah, I'm going to show this to Arms as well. But yeah, Sean, I really appreciate your time and just like all the, you know, transparency and feedback and honesty that you gave here on this call.
Yeah, no problem, man.